we also had a big report this week on the NRA, a big update on the hacking that has occurred there. There was a Russian ransomware group that attacked the NRA at the end of last month and started publishing internal documents, or what they claim are internal documents. And the first couple of dumps actually got a lot of media attention. NBC News, pretty much everyone covered it. But the files were relatively innocuous. They were things like the meeting minutes from the NRA Foundation's latest meeting that decided who was going to be running, on the board of the group, and the different movements of executives around in there, stuff like that. There wasn't anything terribly scandalous or important that came out in those leaks, but the latest leak, right, Jake, is much worse.
Right. Yeah. The financial information, bank account numbers, social security numbers, obviously a lot more sensitive information that is pretty damning for that to be out there, to say the least.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because it's a lot of staff and former staff of the NRA whose information has been exposed,
right?
Including, full social security numbers, their addresses, partial social security numbers. You also had records that indicated whether they were ever paying a tax lien or child support or any sort of garnishment of their wages. Really, anyone who's ever received a physical check from the NRA should probably look at their finances to ensure that no one is trying to steal their identity, and should probably reach out to the NRA. The NRA hasn't issued any statement. They didn't respond to, they didn't send a statement when we informed them of this attack and the information that was out there. Obviously, we don't share the documents themselves because we don't want to expose anyone's personal information, and we don't share details on how to find the documents because we don't want them to spread. However, they've already spread is the problem. The site that the hackers set up on the dark web, so you can't just get to it by going through your regular web browser, but it is publicly available. Anyone that understands how to get to a dark web site and knows the address can find it. And it's been viewed according to their counter. Now, obviously, these are thieves and hackers, so they're not the most trustworthy people in the world, but
sure,
their counter claims that 8,000 people have viewed these documents already before we reported on them. And they had already been downloaded and collected into other methods of sharing and have been shared around on the internet and in the activist community for several days now. So I thought it was important to break this news so that people could know to look at their financial information to make sure that they're not compromised. And because there was no public announcement from the NRA. And additionally, the person I reached whose information had been exposed said that they had not been informed of this before I spoke to them. So I think it's imperative that the people who've been affected by this know that they go out and try to protect themselves. Or hopefully the NRA will also offer some sort of protection to them as well. They haven't issued a public statement on this since the first news of it broke, and they haven't said what they're doing to contain the leaks or end the hack. Now, the hackers themselves have changed the status of the NRA hack from ongoing to completed on their website. We don't know why. They didn't post any sort of explanation for that, but perhaps the hack is over now and we won't see any more of these kinds of documents coming out. Hopefully that's the case.
Right.
But it's hard to know. And you had NRA board member Philip Journey wondering himself whether or not more information is out there and perhaps even being sold, and looking for further information from the NRA itself about what's going on. So hopefully we'll have an update on that soon.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks since that news broke, so it'd be nice to at least get an update from the organization and kind of figure out what they're doing to get a handle on this situation.